afternoon, women and girls are being sexually assaulted in mixed changing rooms across the country. New police data shows that at least 16 rapes, 80 sexual assaults and 65 acts of voyeurism were committed in sports centres in 2023, equating to 3 offences a week. This is all because of mixed-sex changing areas. Let's get reaction now from a hero of mine, Helen Joyce, Director of Advocacy at Sex Matters and author of Trans, Gender Identity and the New Battle for Women's Rights. Hi, Helen.
Hello.
It's lovely to meet you for the first time. I believe it's our first interview. The reason why this is happening is because of trans ideology. It's the idea that really sex is a fluid idea, it's very abstract, and that somebody that has a male physiology is entitled to use a female space. That's why this is happening.
Yes, that, and also that sex differences are trivial and that women don't need any special protections from men, that it's, that women can commit crime too, that, women and men are equally strong, equally violent, equally prone to crime, all these obviously flatly factually incorrect statements. So if you know that you're going to have men who want to come into the women's changing rooms, the easiest way to solve that from the point of view of the person running it is just not to have any women's changing rooms. But also you don't do the sort of risk assessment that you should unless you are clear-eyed on what are actual sex differences. So men are much stronger than women. Men commit nearly all sexual crimes. Women are overwhelmingly the victims. That is why we have separate sex spaces in the first place. That, together with dignity and privacy, people prefer to be with people only of their own sex. And yet, all over the country, places like swimming pools are going mixed sex instead.
And what they're doing, this is a political fudge, isn't it, in order to try to keep everyone happy. And as usual, the people that suffer are women.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what we're talking about is those sort of changing village things. And it's important that you do have some of those at a swimming pool because you get families going. So they're places that people can bring in a child of the opposite sex, or both parents can go in with their kids. But they're flimsy, they don't have floor to ceiling doors. They're obviously, if a lock doesn't work or something, the door opens into a mixed sex communal space. And very importantly, they're very convenient for people who want to slide a mobile phone under a door or under a barrier between two of the cubicles, or to go in and to place a camera. I mean, one of the cases that the Women's Rights Network, who did this research, excellent organisation of grassroots feminists, one of the cases they highlight is a man who, when he was found committing voyeurism, there were 7,000 images of girls, young girls, on his phone that he had got in similar places. So, of course, it's a small minority of men, but those men can commit really large amounts of crime, and they make women feel unsafe. And just knowing that a man might be in the cubicle next to you makes you feel unsafe, so women won't go to these places. That's what happens when we design safety out of public spaces. Women just silently don't go.
They don't go, and of course others that won't go are those of a deep religious faith who will find it more difficult to use a mixed sex changing area because of their beliefs.
Yes, I mean, I don't know how people can do equality impact assessments and come up with this as an answer, because you're meant to think hard about things like different religions, both sexes, and the fact that it's women who do most of the care work supporting other people, like, for example, an elderly mother. It's likely to be a woman who wants to bring her swimming. The fact that women and girls give up sport more than boys do. There are more barriers to participation. It's a stated goal of the government to keep girls, teenage girls, because that's when girls drop out, in swimming. And that's exactly when girls are super self-conscious about their bodies, and exactly when the sort of pervy men who we're talking about here start perving on them. So specifically, we should be thinking about what makes those girls feel the most safe, secure, comfortable. Things like single-sex sessions for swimming, but definitely single-sex spaces, exactly when you're so self-conscious about your growing body and you're maybe worrying about dealing with periods for the first time. I mean, really, it's unconscionable that in order to, placate a small fringe bunch of ideologues, that half of humanity is being thrown under the bus like this.
Stay with us if you can, Helen Joyce. With me in the studio is Claire Pearsall, a former Conservative government advisor. And what we're hearing from Helen and from this research, Claire, is that mixed sex changing areas are undignified, uncomfortable and dangerous.
Absolutely, and I think Helen hits the nail on the head, especially when you're looking at the uptake or longevity of sport for teenage girls. Though I've been a teenage girl, admittedly it was a long time ago.
I would say a decade by the looks of it.
I love you for that. It's not true. I would have been extremely uncomfortable in a mixed sex changing space. I was really self-conscious about how I looked, how I was dressed, what my hair looked like, and it would have just completely freaked me out. So I would never have gone swimming or played sport, which I absolutely adored. So I was quite pleased that my school, for example, had single-sex changing rooms. The local leisure centre also did. And I took up a sport that was a mixed sport anyway, so, you know, we were all good. But I think we need to be really mindful of the rights of women are being eroded, and it's just happening. Little chips are being taken. No one's really noticing, and no one's standing up for us apart from the likes of Sharon Davis. You've got Helen Joyce and Sex Matters, who are excellent. Women need to be aware, and they need to be very, very unhappy.
Most definitely. And Helen, let's call a spade a spade. Going back to religion or cultural sensitivities, it's unlikely that many British Muslim women will use a mixed sex changing area. That's just a provable fact, and that's egregiously wrong.
I mean, exactly. Orthodox Jewish women as well. About a quarter of women have had a serious impact from sexual violence of some sort. Women like that are much more likely to feel even more uncomfortable and scared in such spaces. You know, there's all sorts of reasons. A woman who has a health issue, or a woman who, for example, has had a mastectomy or something like that and may need some extra privacy when she's changing. And people tend to say, oh, well, there are cubicles. But, you know, cubicles don't feel as safe when you know that there's a man on the other side of the wall, and also you always worry about the door not
and I can say some things,
problem.
Helen, I can say some things that you can't say, which is that men and their etiquette in the bathroom is horrific and abysmal and awful. You know, men make a mess in the bathroom. Okay, the gents' toilets are always, you know, a disaster. Why women should be put through that. And you've also got the spectacle of, you know, a bloke coming out of a cubicle in a mixed sex bathroom, Helen, doing up his flies. I mean, all of this is completely unacceptable.
I mean, I travel by train, and sometimes I travel by train late at night, and I try to stay away from the toilets on those trains because, as you say, men are still doing up their flies as they're coming out. You know, anybody who has any common sense or any observation or any compassion for other human beings or any awareness of human nature would know that you design that extra step of safety in. This is what safeguarding is about. You design safety in. And it's not just about the rapes and the voyeuristic attacks that are reported to the police, though they're very important, and well done to Women's Rights Network for this information, information campaign to get these figures. It's just also about the feeling of safety. You don't go to places that you feel unsafe. Women don't walk in parks at night when it's dark. We know where there are lights and where there aren't. A place that's mixed sex and you have to take off all your clothes and have a shower is not a safe place for women. It feels bad, and women won't go.
And if you take, for example, I don't know, a social setting like a restaurant or a bar or a nightclub, women quite often support each other in the bathroom. It's a haven.
Yeah, and in nightclubs and in bars, of course, there's drink and it's dark and there are actually predators. Okay, a swimming pool isn't going to have the drink and the dark bit, but there are predators. We know that. We know where men who want to take pictures of women undressed go. They go to places where there are mixed sex changing rooms, where no one is going to question anything if they go in, where they can leave hidden cameras. I mean, hidden cameras are an absolute blight, and the government has said so, and it has said that this is a crime that men commit largely against women and girls, and yet at the same time we're making that crime easier for those men to commit. It's really a predator's charter. And Sport England is supporting and saying that it's good to have mixed sex changing rooms. They should be telling people don't have this.
It's unforgivable. I do hope we speak again soon, Helen. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Helen Joyce is the Director of Advocacy at Sex Matters, author of Trans, Gender Identity and the New Battle for Women's Rights.